Welcome back, everybody. Liz, well, congratulations, you won the giveaway.
What?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll do. I know that we got a lot of cool questions, so we'll do quick introductions, and then I'll kind of explain what we're doing, and then we'll get to it. So, Liz, you want to go first?
Yeah. Most of you see me as a possum, so this is new. This is my human form. But yeah, I'm Liz. Also Lucifer. Everyone thinks that's a Satan thing, but it's really like Jennifer, but you put a fur at the end of random names that aren't Jennifer. It's a long story.
Jordan Fur.
Um, yeah, like Jordan a fur or Ronan a fur. So,
I like
gra-
it.
yeah, wow usernames. But yeah, so I am Daffodil on Legends of Shah Ogal. Hope to be doing more. I'll be in the upcoming fun battle next weekend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Fight Club. I mean, we don't talk about that. And then outside of Fable 42, I am a designer. I'm a digital designer, but I also do illustration, paintings. I do design mentorships, and I just started my own design community called the Creator Hive, where we can share creativity and lift each other up.
Oh, cool.
Um, but yeah, you can pretty much find me on everything at Lizifer, and I'll show up. If there's someone else though, you need to tell me so I can find them.
We'll do. Perfect. All right, Jordan.
Jordan, greetings. Wouldn't it be wild if that
Perfect.
was it? And you guys can find me on the awesome social media of all forms, casual underscore Campbell, and on all other amazing things, providing motivation, inspiration, and creativity at every moment. You are welcome.
Jazz
Perfect.
hands.
All right. So, if anybody's new, basically what we'll do is we'll just bounce questions back and forth. I have no transitions, which is actually going to work in our favor tonight, so we can get through more questions. So we'll do ladies first. So first up is Liz. This is actually just for me. So we haven't really talked that much
Mm.
since I've been on the network. You did a little bit, but just kind of explain a little bit about yourself and how you came to the network and D and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll start with D&D. I've always
Hmm.
wanted to play D&D, but like growing up in like high school, especially like where I guess I grew up, I don't know. I don't know if that's a factor, but it was always hard to get into a D&D group because it's like, oh, girls just get bored or whatever. And but so I didn't actually start playing D&D until I was gosh, in like my mid 20s.
Mm.
But I love video games and I play video games all the time. As we were talking about World of Warcraft, I have 1,200 hours on one character. Um, so, and she's not, I didn't haven't even played her the most. So, but I love the things I love that brought me to D&D that I bridged with video games is
Mhm.
lore, story, exploring. Um, that's something that I love about role playing games.
Sure.
So yeah, so I started playing with a group. The DM ended up quitting because he's like, I don't like DMing, and I was like, oh, I'll totally take over. And then I moved, but I moved to Los Angeles where there's a great community for this, and so I was able to organize my own game. And then that first one didn't go well. So then I organized another game, which I had all new players in the first game. And as a new DM,
Mm.
I do not recommend that because it's really helpful to have players that can help you. Like, it's like, you know what? Quick rule check. Like, is this wait, does that do that?
Yeah.
Otherwise, it
Right.
just gets like crazy. But I'm still running that same campaign that I first DM'd, which was actually Mata or Lindsay's in my campaign now,
Hmm.
which is it started with Horde of the Dragon Queen. Now we've moved on to Rise of Tiamat. Um, we're like 2 years in. I love my group so much. I've learned so much DMing, and then playing. I play, gosh, like anytime I'm invited, and even Thanksgiving is Strahd's Giving, as we call it, where we run a
Mm.
one shot of Curse of Strahd. um, but yeah, I love it because it's also taught me a lot, like helped with like performance or not performance anxiety. That's Rex. But sorry, I'm spicy today. Um,
Already,
It's
shots
a
I'm
good.
so
It's a
fired.
good. It's a good
spicy.
show to be spicy on.
Yeah, spicy.
Okay, hold on.
But
Love.
like I feel like it's gotten me out of my shell a lot more, and sharing my love of gaming is just that's something I'm super passionate about.
Sure.
and also like breaking down the barriers of like, hey, like this is for everyone. Like you can be whoever you want to be. So that's my super long-winded answer of how I got into D&D.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. All right, cool. I have a follow-up question out here in just a second. All right, so Jordan, Rex has gone through a lot of changes recently in recent weeks. How is he coping with all of that on top of all of the external problems that are around him?
He is not.
Good answer.
I wish I could say more, but as I've said before, Rex already has the fact that he is dealing with eventual deification.
Right.
And
that's
he's dealing with romance and a father figure that wanted to be sure that he understood that he is a father figure.
it's
So,
weird because I mean, like the mission, the actual like Black Glacier mission seems so secondary, like or tertiary or whatever
Almost.
fourth or fifth is for him.
Yeah, it's an F plot, not even A, B, C,
Yeah.
D. It's F plot at best.
Yeah. that's
But it's
crazy.
like for him, it's not, because he has a very clear mission. And as said it before, Carson Aeolus told him, stay on the journey. And when you finish that
that's right.
journey, come back to me and we'll see.
Yeah, right. So
So
this is
that's what
all-
drives him. This is all part of his eventual plan anyway, because Carson was like, if you do it, it'll work. Or at
Right.
least you come back to me and maybe it'll work.
Right. Yeah, that checks out. Yeah, he's just got, I think, probably the most going on the face. Like, so I'm sure many people are dealing with like a lot of things, like the gnomes
Yep.
and that sort of thing. But on the face, he has like just shit. Like,
Well, keep in mind, Jinx is also young, so I don't want to take away from what Jinx is going through.
right.
But Rex is a 17-year-old kid by definition who's going on a journey across the land, which does include going to face a being that wants to be a god, is going to the Xyloc dynasty, which has been known to be a rival to his hometown. It's kind of like going to a war-torn country that hates your country, and you're going there to go not there, but to the glacier where an ancient god sits and relax to take a rock from them. All on the journey to one day fight a being that says they too will one day be a god, and that's just the first stop.
Yeah, right. Touche. That does sound like a lot. It's more than the. I didn't do anything today, so I can't even compare.
I mean,
Cool.
yeah, no, you can't. You're welcome.
Shut up. All right, cool. Okay, Liz. So, sort of follow up to that being anything. Why possum? And I asked Diane about this a little bit, but just from your perspective, can you kind of walk me through some of that creative process?
I am very excited about this because I've been wanting to talk about why possums. So I love animals a lot. But like it just possums are rad because they're North America's only marsupial, right? And they're really misunderstood. A lot of people go, "Oh, possums, they have rabies." Their body temperature is actually like 91 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's too low to like manifest rabies. As well as also too, they're really good for the environment because they eat a lot of they eat ticks as well as some other
Okay.
pests that like other bugs that are potentially dangerous to humans or could become a problem. Like imagine if you have a tick infestation and your kids roll down a hill and then they're covered in ticks.
Right.
That doesn't happen because you can thank possums. But with that said as well, they were super at risk and almost endangered at one point. Reason being, they if like this is super sad, but if a possum gets hit in the road and it's a mom, nobody checks the pouch. And there's usually babies there, and that hurts their repopulation a lot because instead of just hitting one, you're hitting like 10. Anyways, possums are they're just
I did not know that.
possum creatures or opossum because
opossum.
opossum is North American. And I actually had the opportunity to rescue a possum from a storm drain. She was like this big and she was stuck in the storm drain. And I lured her out with hot dogs and cat food. And this is like also this is also when I learned a bunch of possum stuff because I was like on my phone. I was like, okay, is this gonna bite me or what?
Right.
And then yeah, so I took her home. I gave her a warm sock to sleep next to and some cat food, and then she left when she was ready. But yeah, and I named her oh my gosh, Daisy. I named her Daisy. So Daffodil was kind of an inspiration to make a possum folk. But also too, like I thought that would be just so cool. I remember it came up originally when I was looking online for possum onesies, which there are like none.
Sure.
Which is still looked recently, and now I'm like commissioning a friend to make
Yeah,
a
sure.
possum kigu. And then I thought, you know,
There's a
I should
market.
play this in D&D. And so I went on Hero Forge. I Frankensteined a rat folk and a dog maw for this character. I put like a flower crown on her. And then I gave her trash over, and I decided I kind of thought of backstory. I'm like, she's a traveling bard, but she uses trash as all of her instruments and stuff. And since I'm always DMing, I never had a chance to really use her. And then here comes Fabled 42, which, to also answer your question that you asked earlier that I got way too excited about and skipped over, Thor, my boyfriend, actually was looped in for one of the veteran streams, and Lindsay asked, hey, do you know anyone who would be interested? Or something along those lines. And here I am.
Right.
But yeah, so I also like to support possum rescues too, because honestly, like, you can't keep them as pets, but it's like, what happens if you find one that's injured? And animal shelters can't always, like, animal shelters not equipped, but possums are just really smart and cool creatures. And yeah, if you know any local possum rescues or whatnot, definitely support them. They could always use it.
It's interesting. I live in West Virginia, so I would almost guarantee there is some here, because that's their, that the roadkill thing is interesting. I never thought about that. That's a very common between that and white-tailed deer. That's pretty much all you see around here. So interesting.
They're
We'll think
very
about that next
docile
time.
too. I saw one in the road, a juvenile, and the guy I was dating at the time, I was like, there's a possum in the road, get out of the car, it won't bite you, it'll play dead, put it in the bushes. And then I just see him running with this like possum, and its ears are flopping as he's like running it over the bushes. I'm like, I did a good deed today.
Yeah.
Or
that's
made someone else
awesome.
do a good deed.
You
Put them at
wouldn't.
risk instead.
And that's where the power is.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's awesome. That's very cool. All right. Well, I just learned a whole big bunch of things. Sweet. All right.
More you know.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. So the cabin. So why did Rex feel that this was the best time to make his move on Jinx? Like the move.
At the cabin?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm assuming I made a joke about the cave, but I'm assuming it didn't actually happen at the cave. Like,
I can tell you that it did not happen in the cave.
yeah. Okay.
But the cabin was kind of one of those, because he had enough time. Now that he's out of the cave, it kind of dawns on him when he thinks back that Vecna has his blood. Vecna's this dark entity chasing him. The Traveler's at his side. He prays to Agma, and they're about to, for the first time in forever, since they started journeying, he feels peaceful. But more importantly, he doesn't feel so harshly driven. At first, it was simple. I'm gonna become a god. Let me go talk to Carson. He's gonna tell me exactly how to do it. I'm done. Now he's on a wild goose chase, and he's going through a cave, and Vecna's chasing him, and everything he knew was a lie, and nothing else matters. So he learned for the first time to just live life, and the person who taught him that has been Jinx, and he's grown really fond of Jinx, and it's one of those. Jinx means almost the world to him at this moment, since Jinx is the only one who either doesn't shut him down, inflate his ego, or judge him one way or another.
Okay. So it was all right. Cool. So you had the opportunity. The opportunity was there, but there was also some actual real world reason behind.
Yeah, it's like one of those ideas when you've been studying for your finals and you finally finish and you go to a party and you start drinking. You're like, I'm done. It's good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I have to worry about the real world tomorrow. But until then, let me enjoy myself. Let me feel happy.
Sweet. I always sort of feel bad about making jokes about things that you guys take so serious, and then I get over it.
You have to. You don't have a choice.
That's true. I don't. All right. Cool. Okay. Liz. So, how do you go about making up your bard songs?
I literally make them up as we go on the show.
Okay.
So if you see me do this
And
in the
look,
middle of the show, I'm making a song.
Okay.
So I have, like, what was it? Google Keep. for my notes that I keep. Haha, get it, keep.
Aptly named.
I will say that notepad did me dirty last time. I was like, oh, let me go pull up my Vecna song. Oh,
yeah.
where did it go? I was like, no, I have to write a new one, and then I just did it in 5 seconds. I was like, it's got a catchy tune. But like, I know initially early on, I was doing kind of almost like my own rhythm, but like, let's be honest, my sister's the singer in the family. I am the doodler. I make things pretty. So the rhythm part isn't exactly my strong suit. But so I like taking like pop culture songs, kind of like the sea
Sure.
shanty song that is just going around TikTok like crazy, as well as like personal Jesus or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun doing that, but also like in my normal day-to-day stuff, I sing to my animals, or like I sing what I'm doing. I'm like, doing the dishes right now. I let it get out of control. Do do do. Hopefully no one comes over because it's gonna make me look like a troll. So yeah, I don't know. It's just something I used to write poetry a lot too. Like, so the rhyming stuff is something I enjoy.
Mhm.
I enjoy. I am well versed in my English. So
So do you have, like, whenever you set one out, do you figure out the rhythm that you want to use and then figure out words to it on the fly, or do you
kind of,
just yeah
yeah,
yeah
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I'm literally like, I think I've said literally like 100 times.
I literally don't care.
Okay, figuratively, I'm okay with that. Uh, I've definitely just kind of decided this on the show most of the time. I never bring anything pre-prepared. Like, if I'm writing a song, it's during the show, and if it might be from like the last episode that maybe it carried over, but for the most part, it's in the moment.
Yeah, that's
But
cool. See
yeah,
that?
just look out for the face.
I'm going to. Yeah, I'm a total, literally barbarian. Because I can't do any of that stuff. I'm not
We're
talented
aware.
like that. Yeah, I'm not.
We are aware.
I can draw my. I'm the same sort of way that I can draw. I like to draw my characters, but I would never try
Ugh,
to
if
attempt.
only
to,
I could draw.
I would never attempt to do that.
If only I could write.
Oh,
only-
snap.
Oh,
only had a
snap,
brain.
indeed. Oh.
Okay. Jordan. So this one is from Ferrix. They ask. Let me see what they. Yeah. Okay. Rex has made it clear that he would have abandoned the party if it meant achieving godhood to defeat Vecna. To what extent does he see the party as tools?
That's a deep one.
Yeah.
Rex is not by no means a bad guy. However, I want no misconceptions. He's not necessarily a good guy. He has an objective.
Sure.
He's brought it up many times, especially with Jinx. Like when he's telling Jinx that it's going to happen, you can see that Jinx is being broken by it. But Rex is like, at the end of the day, this is what has to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. At the end of the day, Rex believes in the greater good. And though these people are becoming his friends, he knows, or at least he believes, that his ascension prevents something worse from happening. And if he can do that, whatever price he has to pay is more than worth it.
That's crazy. I mean, that is so. He is the antithesis is probably not the right word because they have the exact same view of the world, but he is the charismatic version of Thegan. Like that is
almost, yes.
How.
And to give like a better idea, this is for those that love Final Fantasy. The best way to describe how Rex believes himself is Yuna from Final Fantasy X.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, he knows exactly how it will end, and nothing can change that.
This makes a lot of sense now.
And but he has to accept that, and you can see the turmoil with the fact that he's starting to be allowed to. He's drinking finally. He's enjoying himself. He's doing things that you've noticed he at the beginning would never do. He would take any chance to read, not socialize, but he's becoming more open. He's working out. He's reading. He's expanding his reading. He's learning. He's talking with people, engaging, but he treats it kind of like that. He knows what the end of the road is.
So I guess my question would be, is he doing these things because he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to enjoy this ride? Or is he doing it because does he think something there might actually change what he knows is going to happen?
It's been stated that he knows it's not going to change it,
Not going to change him.
and he knows he spoke about with Jinx, like he's learning to appreciate this. And it was a time when he got drunk for the first time, how you have a plan and something comes in and ruins it, but not in a bad way, and that's what makes it a bad thing. The fact that he knows where his journey ends, and someone has come into his life to make him not want to do it, and hating that, it makes him not want to do it.
Right. Okay. No, the Final Fantasy reference helps out a lot. Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, he's. Wow,
Yeah.
that's gonna be that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, good to know. Good to know. Cool. So they're all on your good side for now. Okay,
Yeah.
Liz. So the devil or whatever you sort of made a pact with, we're not 100% certain right now. Actually, I don't think anybody else is. You've told a couple people, but how long had that person or that entity been in Daffodil's life prior to signing the contract, and did she actually give any thought prior to signing the contract?
So she just met that person, that individual. Also, I don't know what contract you're talking about, but I don't know.
Contract, huh?
I don't know. It was a
Oh
contract.
yeah, sure.
Contract, schmontract. But yeah, she just met that person, that individual, that delightful tiefling, that handsome tiefling, I think, as Diane described.
Mhm.
And
Dirty handsome, actually.
and I will say though that her will or her desire to succeed as a famous singer, especially after not receiving the ovation she wanted at the party, I believe it wasn't Athcross, it was the guy in the place with the big house party that I ended up eating food off of other people's plates and being our fancy party where we all got dressed up.
Oh, Duke
Yes.
Egan.
Yes, him.
Gotcha. Yeah, he did
but-
not like your song.
No, he didn't, and that was really demoralizing for Daffodil. And just keep in mind, she set out from home alone to make something of herself. And when this opportunity presented itself, she saw it as a way to suddenly, it's like a fast track to fame.
Mm.
Of course, and she hasn't been really out in the world on her own very long. Especially seeing like the interactions with the other characters, she's kind of almost, I guess you could say, street smarts immature.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
kind of carefree. So yeah, she heard that she can become famous somehow, and she took it.
Nice.
Would.
Is it?
I cannot see any potential repercussions
None at
No.
all.
whatsoever.
This is also not the first game I've played where I've pretty much signed my soul away. The last time was in Descent to Avernus. This is like, oh yeah, I'll sign this thing, and I was like, oh crap, that might have been a devil.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. No, sign first. Just sign first is my
Yeah.
motto.
Deal with all the rest of it later.
Yeah, sign first, read never.
Read never. That's a lot of fine print. If
It's a terms of service. No one
If
reads
they wanted, you know, it'd be in bold.
it would be in bold
or italicized.
and
Yeah.
highlighted.
Yes. So
Clearly, they don't want you to know anything. All right,
Exactly.
cool. All right. I forgot to put this one in order. This was from April, Jordan. How does Clay, sorry, switching gears, how does Clay feel about Petra now? And is there something brewing with Ash? April's always asking the ship questions.
So I'm gonna answer that question backwards.
Yeah.
There is something brewed with Ash, but not what people would ever believe.
Okay. All right.
For Clay, the biggest moment is watching someone who you've journeyed with, may have only been a week, wake up and remind you of seeing that same pain that you have seen in someone else you have loved, makes you truly understand what someone's going through. I mean, for the longest, Clay would just see Ash as this brute with, no feelings and basically, lack of a better term, an ass.
Ashhole.
An asshole who wakes up in what's clearly a panic attack. It humanizes them.
Okay. Yeah.
But more than just humanize, it shows pain. And knowing
Vulnerability.
someone who's so hard on themselves to someone else, being vulnerable is almost as painful as the panic attack itself. So Clay wanted to ensure that Ash wouldn't feel
Okay.
that panic of being embarrassed on top of the panic attack. So he feels an understanding, and I think for who they are, that's a big deal. Now to answer the first part, Clay is torn about Petra. And I will say, not for the reason that you think.
Okay.
That is actually all you're gonna get out of that.
Whatever.
Yep.
And to get more on that, tune in tomorrow.
Quite literally, tune in tomorrow to find out more.
Yeah, I felt that like because you guys were nearing the end of the show, like it felt like that wasn't going to. It felt like it was bubbling, like, particularly when she ran in and just dashed off. You didn't say hardly anything, really. You can feel it that it was like it's gonna happen. It's gonna whatever issues you guys have, they're about to be.
It's boiling over.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. Cool. I have no idea where I'm at. Let's see here.
I believe you're at home. Hopefully.
Oh my goodness.
I am home.
Do you need first of all help?
No.
The red button.
Okay, Ferrex also asked this one for Daffodil. Daffodil has been very quiet until last week's episode about her backstory. Why has she kept that way, and what made her think that then would be the right time to come forth about her childhood?
Okay, so yeah, Daffodil, she has a very interesting, I guess, story. But part of her as a character, she grew up with a lot of brothers and sisters. She's 13. She's one out of 13, and she's the last. So she's got a lot to prove. Yeah, that's a lot of possums. Imagine 13 babies hanging on your back at the same time. But as I've also mentioned, she also has 2 moms right now. Congrats, moms. But with that said, she doesn't like to talk about her dad much because he was really out of the picture from when she was pretty young. And I guess you could say she doesn't want to give him the headspace because he left.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But at that point, seeing Frizz kind of go into almost like a not necessarily panic. It's a similar path, I guess.
Yeah, it's similar to panic attack.
Yeah.
The shutdown emotion.
Yeah, exactly. To let him know that it's better to do it together. But also with that said, is another thing is Daffodil's kind of attitude has shifted since the beginning of the show. I think at the beginning of the show, she was super independent, like super like I don't need anyone, I can do this by myself, like super like in your face. And she's kind of toned down a bit. And what's kind of happening here, especially coming from a big family, is, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers have done this at some point, is like the hyper independence to try to not feel bad. So that hyper independence, I think, is starting to kind of run out. And she's also really bonding with the rest of the party, and that's like her family now, because she left home. But yeah, it's specifically for her dad. She doesn't want, she realizes that he chose to leave them, and he deserves as little acknowledgement or headspace as possible.
But it was very pertinent at the time.
Yes, it was. It was a valuable lesson. It was almost like a warning, a careful warning, because she cares about Frizz.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can see that. I think obviously it's going to help that, particularly with the independence, getting thrown in situations you literally cannot do on your own, like the cave and that sort of stuff. Definitely is going to help you guys bond.
Yeah, and even from like me as a person, a mental health perspective, that's something I struggled with, was hyper independence as a defense mechanism. But like even too, like it's like you see like something bad happens that you can't control, and then you try to control it, but in reality you're just hurting yourself more. So that's kind of also too like a little bit of something I pulled from like my own real life like experiences too for that story, and kind of Daffodil, I guess, a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, I do that. I mean, I think everybody sort of does that subconsciously, if not consciously.
Yeah.
Pull all that stuff out. That's what makes D&D so fun. Okay, so what, Jordan? What did? Oh, that should be why. Why did Rex? You've sort of already answered this, but why did Rex start his morning workout routines?
He knows something's coming. He knows something's coming, but wow.
Good answer. Next question.
Oh my.
Wow. Wow. Whew, it got hot in here.
Yeah.
He knows that we
all know, dude. We thought
a conflict is brewing, and because of that, there's a lot of changes due to the fact that with his power, with the fact that he got the blessing from the traveler. But there has been not whispers, but he's been praying a lot. But he's also recently stopped doing his morning prayer, and since then switched over to working out and studying.
Okay.
So his ritual has shifted from simply praying and preparing to working out and reading, which I will say is the exact same reason he was praying. Can't spoil too much, but
Sure.
the working out actually is going to be very important very soon.
Okay. All right. Oh shit, we're almost out of time. Okay, let's shotgun some of these because they're all really good questions. All right. So
Ready.
Liz, what was the internal monologue of the last 5 minutes of Legends most recent episode?
Was initially like I was kind of writing notes and stuff, and then just what? Oh,
Yeah.
oh my, oh no, he doesn't know. Jordan doesn't realize what's happening. Jordan, he hasn't done the face yet, and he's just, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I just got even way worse when I died a little bit when then Jordan went, oh my gosh, because that was such a genuine reaction.
It was
I
mean, he slid it like he was just like gravel, rude, stone, or whatever the hell he said, and I'm just like, have I ever heard of that? What is that?
Gravel seed, yeah, gravel seed.
Gravel seed.
I know it, and if there's a question for me, I just want to say when that came up, I immediately looked at Diane like, hey, would Rex know what this is? But Diane's just looking at me like, oh, just listen.
So I initially thought what was happening. This is how just garbage my mind can be. I was like, is he giving him natural male enhancement? And I was like,
thought it was the other one.
I was like, Frizz, what are you doing? He's a kid. Yeah, so I just was like, oh my God, I would die if that was me. If that was my parent, I would just die.
I actually thought he was going to give him some sort of anti-aphrodisiac, like something to suppress urges.
Honestly, I thought that's what I thought the gravel root was something to be to suppress urges so I can go back on my something like that.
Yeah. And then it didn't. And
when it dawned on me, my soul was like, oh.
It's so bad. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Rex is clearly, this is from Taryn. Rex is clearly growing more independent. Sorry. How do you think this will affect his reception of fatherly advice? Is he going to do the teenage rebel thing, or?
I can probably guarantee teenage rebel. He's been the good boy forever.
But he kind of does brush off Frizz sometimes. Even before Frizz got super fatherly, he was kind of like trying to be independent. Rex, I mean, was.
Always. Rex definitely wants the independence because he's like, I have to grow up because, I'm going to become a god.
Yeah.
So, getting everything that happens keeps trying to humanize him. And Rex is trying to get away from that humanized fact that he's a child to everyone.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. All right, Liz, your shanty was God tier last stream. Any plans on making more, or will you change it up with other musical styles? That was D'Angelo that asked that.
I definitely like changing up different musical styles. So
yeah, I like how it's been they've all been different.
Yeah. Okay, if you've ever had an album where it's like, I can't wait to listen to this album, and it's like, okay, first song's great. Okay, second song sounds pretty close to the first song. Okay, it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, just put. Yeah. I'm trying to diversify my EP. Thank you.
That's true. Okay, Jordan, how does Odin really feel about Turin? It was Tristan that asked that.
Odin does not hate Turin.
I wrote it down. Sorry.
That is the best way I can put it.
Does not hate. Wow.
Does not hate Turin.
That's so good. All right.
That's like the only way I can describe it.
Okay. Liz, Daffodil seems apprehensive or unsure of how to interact with Oscar. What's the reason for this? You're muted.
All right. These headphones, I keep booping. Initially, she was just kind of. I don't think she's really encountered anything like Oscar before.
Yeah,
so but also too, this is part of her transition of like hyper independence. Like I don't need Oscar, but especially when they encountered Vecna and Oscar got hit, Daffodil kind of looks up to him like internally, and you're seeing this a little more. She looks up to him kind of as like big brother Oscar.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you hit my brother? Because he's just so wholesome, and except that one thing he said to Jinx.
Yeah. Right.
Your royal Gynus. Good lord. But no, like she wants to make sure that bucket of bolts is in good possum hands.
Good. Yeah. And you guys are still really early. So I mean, there's still a lot
Yeah.
of growing and bonding and things to
Yeah.
happen. I mean,
It's been like 2.5 weeks, maybe.
you can only bond so much, like Rex and
I
Jinx,
mean,
but,
unless
uh,
I was gonna say unless you use glue, but that's another way. There's
Yeah.
different type of glue there.
There's okay. All right. I think we gotta go after this one. Jordan, Himian has dealt with a lot of tragedy. What's his happiest memory outside of
Oh.
meeting Deegan?
Wow. Honestly, Deegan is like one of his biggest tragedies. I'm kidding, but mostly not kidding.
True.
So for those that did not get a chance to really know, Hemian came from a family of royal wizards. They are part of royal courts. They went to Frostguard. They graduated top of their class type thing. They're well known, but they also gave birth to a child who said he will pick up the legacy whether or not he wants to, and then trained him and beat him to make sure he learned how to do everything. As revealed, he uses Alter Self to hide all the scars and the fact that they ripped off his wings when he was younger. But I will say one of his happiest memories.
So that did not answer the question at all.
One of his happiest memories is when he, after the fact that everyone judges him for being a necromancer, the fact that Crixie joined him for tea parties to enjoy literally spending time with him and his undead companions in the most casual, no judgmental way. There's other people who are like, don't judge, but they have different forms of judging. And Crixie has held zero judgment on him being a Nephilim, on him being a necromancer, on his arrogance. Just Trixie sees him as a normal person, and it humanizes him, and that is the first time he's ever been humanized by anyone.
That's nice and really sad that it took you that long to have a happy memory.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're about out of time. I got like a bunch more questions. Shit. Okay. Sorry. So go ahead and do your
Go for it.
outro thing. Huh?
Go for
I
it.
got time? All right. Cool.
He's like, hey, questions.
All right. This one came from GW. Liz, what is the inspiration for Daffodil's voice / how she speaks?
Okay, Bart Simpson.
Oh God, yes.
Bart Simpson.
I
Yeah.
love that. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Because she's just kind of high pitched, but if she does too high pitched, then it's just like
my gosh.
it's
I
like
can hear
it's
it
ear
now.
piercing, so it's kind of a throaty sound. But it kind of gives her some attitude too, so it's not too shabby.
Have you ever seen the woman who does Bart's voice?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen
Yes.
her voice acting? Oh my god.
Yeah,
I will
she's
never
great.
be able to take that out of my brain now when I watch
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Awesome.
Right?
Awesome. All right. Renee and myself want to know, Jordan, what are you getting into? What's your new creation that is on the horizon?
Oh, is this supposed to be where I do a plug?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, it's a two-part thing. I do want to, I guess this is the chance. I've been working closely, independently, I've been working on a Shonen Jump inspired 5th edition variation, using a lot of elements from so much of my favorite manga, anime, and I call shonen adjacent, such as JRPGs, to create a world and content where people can be their anime protagonist dream in a 5th edition world. And this isn't one of those like, oh, well, if you build a character like a fighter with a rogue, you might get a shinobi from Naruto. We are building classes from the ground up and mechanics to allow you to truly be your anime version. And I have been lucky enough to work with Renee and his associates in working on a shonen-inspired Dragon Rock RPG specifically, have been phenomenal collaborators and consultants on where we've been so far. And I'm excited for the next steps for everyone else to enjoy. And the few people I'm going to get to do some play testing with, including not limited to Ronan and also Taryn, who've been making a few characters and working on some ideas to get where we're going in that.
Super excited.
Shonen
Okay.
42 is over the horizon, so we'll
That's
see if we
right.
can make it there.
Okay, we'll do one more question each. Liz, Daffodil plays aloof a lot, and this may be what you've already alluded to. But in her recent reactions with Erky and Frizz, she's been more caring, sort of motherly side. Is that stemming from the same sort of idea of growth?
Yeah, yeah. I think, now that she's gotten to know the party better and understand too, like that there's connections developing her here that are better than fame, maybe. That there's things that are better than being famous and being alone as a traveling bard. And I think she's starting to let her defenses down and is she's almost kind of taking like a motherly, like, granted, like she's only 24,
Right.
which is still really, it's like middle age for bots. It's actually never mind. Oh god. No, but she's definitely, like, I think she's reprioritizing a little bit.
Yeah, it felt like, I mean, seeing now, like sort of hindsight looking back on the first couple episodes, it almost felt like that was also a performance. Your whole persona in general was a performance of some kind, and then now we're sort of starting to see some of the real Daffodil.
Yeah, like almost like be as loud as you can because then the thoughts won't be, the
Yeah.
squishy thoughts won't make a sound.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Again, I'm so excited to see this group in particular because you guys are the weirdest group ever created for a D&D campaign.
We are the least adventuring party adventurers have ever adventured.
So weird. So weird. All right. Last question from Mr. Solo. What is Hemian's biggest fear in the future of Wizards?
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't. I'm scared to answer that because Solo asked, and if that's the case, he's planning something.
Yeah, he
on
already
the
knows what it
graduation
should be. He just wants to know if you know.
Yeah, he wants to know. He's like, do I have to tweak how much I'm going to break Hemian? But without giving Solo too much ammunition, I will tell you what his biggest fear is: losing someone specific that he has fallen in love with.
Ta-da. That's it. That's all we're gonna get. I know it.
That's all.
All right. Cool. Okay. Well, do your outro things. Where can they find you on social medias and stuff? Real fast, Liz.
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram. That's where I kind of post all of my stuff. I'm currently working on a few paintings as well as just digital creations, as well as trying to get my own stream going more for probably World of Warcraft. But yeah, you can find me at Lizifer, not AT Lizifer, but Lizifer on Instagram. And that's where I'll post pretty much any updates on what I'm working on. And yeah, and eventually I'll update Twitter more. And remember, that's an app on my phone. But and then also on Twitch. I was just talking about my stream. Twitch TV/Lizifer. That's where I do the stream stuff. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Jordan.
Again, you can find me casual_Campbell. On Instagram, Twitter, and anything that has a social media, you'll find Casual Campbell there, doing casual things casually. I am taking a small hiatus from my social media because I'm really determined to get this shonen thing done, because I am going to publish a player's handbook shonen style for Fable 42 to enjoy. So be on the lookout for that as we casually release some shonen content.
Super cool. Awesome. And I'm Ronan Fox. You can find me at Ronan Fox pretty much only on Instagram and in the Fable 42 Discord. All right, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, chat, for being here. Go ahead and enter raffle to go to the In-Between Show giveaway. Next up is the second episode of Duke City Chronicles, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome. And I think that's it. So for Fox's sake, be nice to each other.
Don't make me win the raffle again. I
That's
swear.
right.
I
Take
swear.
care, cool.